Hey everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your occasionally on Thursdays live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial, and Sigilite of the FLG. And I am Seth the Mad Dok, your competitive correspondent. And we are definitely not recovering from being trapped in the warp and our tech priest being possessed. Kicker,
Wow.
What have you been up to?
First of all, guys, a huge apology. Yes, we are a live cast traditionally on Wednesdays. Today, yesterday was just not happening. I mean, computers were exploding. Our tech priest was running out of oil. It was not going to happen. So we tried, but we're back today. Basically,
we didn't want to give you an inferior product.
Right. Oh, yeah. We will not give you an inferior product. No, not happening. We decided to intercept the Thursday show, which will be happening later tonight with our show, because a lot of people have been bombarding us saying, like, what happened? So we did not want to not give you an episode this week. Let's just start off with saying, guys, I've been gone for a couple weeks because of LVO, but I'm back. Mm-hmm. It's good to be back. I want to say thank you to all the many people that came up to me, wanted stickers from Signals. That was awesome. Some people were really timid about asking for the stickers. Like, dude, guys, just come up. Like, we're happy to give you stickers.
That's exactly why we designed the art and got those printed.
Exactly, right? And also, I really want to say thank you to all the people that helped make sure that I stayed hydrated with tea, because I traditionally lose my voice by Sunday, and I did not. Wonderful people like Mark Whitaker from, I think, Arizona, New Mexico came up and was like, dude, here's tea, literally like 3 or 4 times a day. Very generous of you. And it worked. Seth, you were talking to me on Sunday like I was talking.
Yeah, it's like your wife and I knew what we were talking about.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. My wife, you guys are all taking care of me. I appreciate it, Mark. And then also got to say a special shout out to Daniel, our German ITC rep. He surprised me on Friday with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 bags of Dinkle Puffs. That's my favorite cereal of all time.
I still can't get past the name.
Yeah, Dinkle Puffs.
Please tell me it translates to something better than Dinkle Puffs.
I have no. It's a German word. It's
You're
like
German.
I know, but I only know the curse words. Sorry. I'm a terrible and like Volkswagen. That's about it, right? But yeah, it's a great, like, it's kind of like a German take on Smacks, Honey Smacks. It's
okay.
Really
all right.
Good. All right. Enough of that. What about you, Seth? What have you been up to?
I've done something that has shocked many members of the community. I've started working on an old hobby project, and that old hobby project is my Tau.
Oh, the orc man himself is playing Tau.
Yeah, so actually the first army that I started from scratch as a kid was Tau in 3rd edition. So it's like my childhood army. I haven't been able to let go of it. The last time I've really done anything with it was like 2018. This is actually a picture from Nova. Oh, wow. And that is my Riptide versus Ricky Addington's Knights. And that was a lot of fun. I took a lot of pictures of that game because at that point Duncan actually came up and was commenting on like how cool the armies look. So that was a lot of fun. So I've busted that army back out. I'm trying to get it back updated. I'm talking about, I pulled out models that the last time I put paint on them and didn't finish them was 2012.
Dude, that's 10 years ago.
I have broadsides that are just like base coated in a green from an airbrush from 2012 that I'm trying to get up to speed.
So is the pivot here because you're tired of orcs or because you're excited about Tau? What's going on here?
I am excited about Tau, and I played orcs pretty much straight for the last 2 years, and I just kind of wanted a change of pace. Yeah. An early season in ITC for me is always a good time to try something new, knock some rust off of an old army, because you're going to have plenty of season left if you really want to pivot to try to get a best in faction or something like that. So this is just the kind of time of the year where it's fine to experiment and goof off and have some fun, because you still got plenty of time left on the clock to get your scores in for whatever faction you want. So I figured I'd try something new for a bit. I don't know if I'll get it all painted in time for Cherokee in 2 weeks. I'm going to try my best. We're going to find out. Who knows?
I know a few guys that have been in retirement for all of 9th edition, just waiting for the Tau Codex to drop. Yeah. One guy in particular, he's a buddy of mine, and he's an amazing player. He used to be a professional Magic player, hardcore 40K player, but he did not play all of 9ths because he's just like, I'm not going to play until Tau ready, because that's his one army. That's his. So look for him at Cherokee. You'll see him. But
so Kicker, I have some hot rumors that I thought would be important to
Oh,
share.
okay, cool.
I believe I have heard that the reason our tech priest was so waylaid last night was by an insidious assault
Ooh.
by the evil forces of Magikarp used fly from Chapter Tactics. They have been largely left out of the FLGN rumbles, and I think
Mm.
they were trying to kind of cut us off at the knees.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the next time you run into Matt, you just give him the eyes for me,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. They are actually, like, awesome guys. I love
I know,
the whole Dice Shield
but
guys. But screw them. I mean, we are
yeah, that's
clearly the
right. That's right.
superior FLGN podcast.
All
Uh,
right, industry news kicker, take it
yeah.
away.
All right, well, you're talking about pivoting to Tau. I have to have a little confession with everyone out there. I have always hated Eldari. I've just been disgusted with them since the beginning. I've always never liked, like, the elf. I never found, like, a kinship, a
This
bond
is
to the elf
very sad,
armies.
folks.
Yeah, like, no, never. I like, at Lord of the Rings, I was a Gimli guy, never a Legolas guy. And then I saw these Corsairs, and I gotta say the Corsairs are my favorite, mini so far of 2022. Now, we've only had a month and a
Yeah,
half
that's a
in.
big statement.
But
For
but
the
but, you know,
last
like
5 weeks, they're my favorite miniature.
there's always new stuff, right? And, like, as soon as I saw the first, like, glimmer of them at the LVO preview, I'm like, "Oh, these are interesting. I like these." And I am totally sold. I'm gonna go do it. I'm just doing it. I'm going 100% into Eldar. At least gonna give it a shot, just like you. Mix it up. It has nothing to do with the rules. I don't even know what the rules are. I just like the idea of pirate, elf
Yeah.
ninja guys. I don't know. It looks cool. So that's got me getting me pretty excited. There's been a lot of other minis coming out. We saw what is it? The new guy, the Death Reaper character.
Mug and Raw.
Yeah, Magna. So we're seeing the steady trickle. We got, of course, the Avatar that's been released. That's not as exciting to me as just some of the smaller characters. But anyway, a lot of stuff coming out with them. We've also been getting the rules. The rules are slowly trickling down the pipeline. With Eldar, we know that the Corsairs are going to be very similar to how the Orc Commandos came, where you get a pile of different rules and bits, mainly for
Yep.
Kill Team, but they still can be played in 40K. I'm sure it's gonna be just like the Commandos, where you're not gonna put all those weapons on them if for 40K. It's just not gonna be competitive. I mean,
I am.
Seth, the Orc Commandos, you basically gave them like maybe a power claw, right?
I think I gave him a power claw, and then I put the breacher ram on him.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
always
the
like
breach ram.
one weapon in that random mix that actually is good.
Was it the Shaka pistol or something that was on the Orc Commandos
It looks
crew?
amazing.
Yeah.
You'll never use it.
Not competitive in 40K. Yeah, and
Yep.
so I'm sure that's how the Corsairs are gonna be, but for right now, I'm just excited because they all look cool. We've also got the battle focus rule that's been out there, which is going to allow basically Eldar to shoot, move, and like move, shoot, and move again.
I hereby curse all Eldar players to roll nothing but ones on their battle.
Yeah, so you roll a
rolls.
d6 after you shoot, and that determines how many inches you can move. I love it, man. I think that's a great rule.
I'm gonna load all their dice to roll ones.
You're right. You do that. But you know what, though, man? It'll be kind of cool because, it could be very balanced, right? I mean, if they're a very strong army with all the data slates being amazing and they get this rule, that might be too much. But I guess we'll have to see the full codex when that drops. The other big thing is the fate dice, which is kind of like the Sisters of Battles, special select your dice thing. Sisters of Battle are not destroying the meta, so I don't think these fate dice are going to be, the thing that make Eldar amazing. And by the way, guys, I keep on saying Eldar because I've been playing this game for far too long for me to try and change my vocabulary to Eldari.
Despite his facial features, he is quite an old man.
Yeah. Oh, geez, man. It was Reese's birthday yesterday. We should
Yeah, he's the old man.
He's the old man,
the emperor who's retired to his golden throne.
Yes.
Belated happy birthday to you, one Reese.
Mr. Reese. Thank you, Reese. But you know what else is getting rules, Seth, is the NIDs. And how are these rules getting leaked? Why don't you take this one away,
Yeah,
Seth?
so they're getting leaked in the interesting traditional way of new box inserts. So they're repackaging a lot of the NID models. And in those since probably been 8th edition, they started packing rules in with the actual models.
Yeah.
So folks are getting their hands on these new repacked boxes, and they're getting access to the new Tyranid weapon stats. So that very much tells us if GW's repackaging Tyranids with new stats, that a codex has to be coming shortly behind. So I've been hearing it's after the Eldar book. I mean, obviously the Eldar book is like a week or two from now. I don't know
that's
how
the
long
pattern, though,
that.
right? We saw it with AdMech. AdMech did it for a while. All the new repackaged rules were in there, so we know it's happening, man. It's definitely happening.
It's a coming.
Okay, I mean, as a Horde player, Seth, do NIDs,
sir, I'm a Tyranid or a Tau
You're
player now.
a Tau player. You're a Tau player. You were a Tau player. I'm always like,
Yes.
Nids are always kind of like one of those armies that kind of like, they lure me in a little bit too. They're kind of cool. They're totally different
I
aesthetic.
was this close to buying a friend's knit army like a year ago, just so I could be like, I could have a lot more Xenos, but I focused instead.
I want to talk about the Frontline gaming products too. I mean, GW's
Yeah,
got a lot of products
there
in the
are
pipeline.
been products from Frontline Gaming.
There are new products. If you were out at LVO and you saw the top tables being streamed, you saw not just the top tables being streamed, you saw the top table, which is a beautiful brand new. Yeah, right. You
Ha
saw that. You saw that.
ha
Yeah, right.
top.
Yeah, the brand new Frontline Gaming foldable table is something we're extremely proud about. We don't even have, it's like brand spanking new. We don't have like professional photos of it or anything. We're kind of just, we teased it in at LVO. We're gonna have a few at Cherokee. These tables are just freaking amazing. There was a guy that picked up a table Sunday night at LVO,
Mhm.
and he immediately went that night and did like his own little YouTube review. Go like look it up. It's pretty damn cool because he compares our table to the competitor's table, which you guys may or may not have heard of before, and he compares it to the Walmart option, the two folding tables side by side, and he's like, this just blows him out of the water. And it's cheaper than the competitor and 100 times better than the Walmart option. It's purposely built to be a wargaming table, so it's actually taller than your standard table, so you don't have to lean over as much. It's
Mhm.
super sturdy, so it's not going to shake. It's
Yep.
durable enough to hold 300 pounds. I mean,
I
yeah.
kicker. I hate to ask this,
Yeah,
but
shoot.
like, if it's durable to hold 300 pounds, and I happen to be a 300-pound man, which for some reason my color is going to crap tonight,
Uh,
I think
uh,
we need to get photos of me standing on a table at Cherokee. Oh,
oh,
that's where
okay.
my color is going to crap.
Our tech priest
But
turned you blue.
I think if you're down for it, I think we should just have me stand on a table at Cherokee and see what happens.
So it does say, I work with engineers, and they put it in the little instruction thing. It says very clearly this table is only meant for its intended purpose, which is to play war gaming. I mean, it should theoretically hold 300 pounds, but like, you know, I mean, I guess we could try it. We might as well try it. I sat on it, but I'm not
Yeah.
as
Yeah, but you're not as big as me.
yeah, not at all. But like it is way more stable. It's the same injection molded plastic that you'd want from like one of those lifetime tables. So
Yep.
super durable. The table's perfectly sized for a 40K mat. So it's 44 inches by 60 inches. The mats do sometimes hang a little bit over because there's actually a 3% variance in all rubber products. It's just kind of the industry standard. So some older frontline gaming mats or mats that have been exposed to a lot of different temperatures warp and slightly change a little bit. But the table itself is perfectly designed to fit a mat. There's also really kick-ass grab handle, and I know people are like, oh, it's a grab handle, whatever.
Yeah.
No, dude, the grab handle just feels badass. It's like you can tell this thing is indestructible. I don't say indestructible, but extremely durable. And yeah, we are gonna have a few at Cherokee, very few at Cherokee that you can
Yep.
pre-order through our website. They'll be
Because
for
I
pickup
tried to
only.
get one on a plane for the way back, and it didn't work. Didn't work. So
Oh, and we should be rolling out the Frontline Gaming terrain as well. People have been bombarding us asking about the Frontline Gaming terrain. Our laser basically just like burnt up. The laser that cuts the terrain. It's been working on an overdrive
you
before
lasered
LVO.
too hard.
Yeah, we worked the laser too hard. So we have a new one so basically starting next week, we should go into production and hopefully start shipping out
All
the
right.
full color Frontline Gaming terrain.
I am
So,
gonna hop
oh
in and
shoot, go,
interrupt your
go.
flow here because we do have a
Yeah,
question
do it,
from
do it,
our
do it.
European audience.
Yeah.
Will you sell this table from any retailers in Europe?
So not from a retailer. I believe Frankie, who handles our web cart, is setting it up so we'll be able to ship these overseas. Now, shipping, it's a table, right? You're not,
Yeah.
it's not. I am working with a few people. I don't want to drop any names just yet, but some notable personalities in the UK, and we're trying to see if we can send them a few pallets so that they can ship directly from UK wares and Canada, right? Canada, okay. Our tech
Yeah.
priest up in Canada would like that to happen as well. These tables are, yeah, I mean, you just got to see them, man.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps talking about them because I'm like, yeah, finally something like this exists. Something far smaller, which is not as exciting but still very cool, is the Frontline Gaming folding dice tray thing. Brand spanking new as well.
Yeah.
We had these at
I
LVO.
got one. I don't
You
have
got
it
one?
from my camera. I
Sweet,
don't.
sweet. So,
I
well,
left it downstairs.
Reese and Frankie were like, "Are we sure we want to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this." They sold
Oh yeah, super
extremely well
handy.
at LVO. Dude, Seth, you've seen them. They're the quality, right? It's not
Yeah.
like your cheap, flimsy ones.
And I do like that they collapse down.
Yeah.
They unsnap and they lay nice and flat, so they're really easy to travel with. So I do like that because I have some like wooden ones that don't collapse down for at home, and they just always kind of are annoying to travel with.
Yeah. And like the collapsible ones that do collapse down tend to be kind of like they don't feel nice. They just kind of cheap plastic. Ours are beautiful, beautiful dice trays. We're looking at like $15 retail for them. Okay, guys, everyone, yes, the GW ITC announcement is a big deal. I think, Seth, you talked a little bit about it
Yep.
last week. Did you go into the details at all?
Yeah, we went through kind of the stuff that was already published in the GW article. We just kind of went through
Okay.
that from our end. But
Okay.
anything else you can add, Kicker? I'm
Yeah,
sure the
I
audience
mean, I've
would
been on
love
the
to know.
phone with GW basically every day this week. I mean, like I was on the phone with them for like 2.5 hours yesterday, an hour today. It's a big deal. I don't want to misspeak, and I am not supposed to go into details until probably next week. But I want you guys to know the infrastructure is set up.
Mhm.
We're just not going to make a public. We're not going to publish anything formal or make a statement until all the T's and C's are done and everything. Like all the I's are dotted and T's are
Yep.
crossed because we want to make sure everything's formal.
He got it
Um,
right tonight,
I,
folks.
yeah, I got it right tonight. Yeah, I am terrible at saying a lot of these. Like, I'm. By the way, guys, I am not a good American. I'm not like I'm an immigrant. I'm second generation immigrant. I get all these like Americanisms, like killing birds with stones. Like killing birds with stones is a thing, right?
No,
Killing two
stop doing
killing
that.
killing
Just
two
stop.
birds with one rock.
You remember what I do as a job? Stop talking about killing birds with
Oh,
stones.
sorry. Oh, sorry. You are a bird doctor, but there's like calling a kettle like black, right? So there's all these
Let Kicker,
Americanisms.
you specifically pre-show told me don't let you get off
Oh, sorry,
topic.
I'm getting off topic. The point is, I'm really bad with Americanisms. Let's focus on GW and ITC. Next
Yes.
week, we should get you covered with that. I do want you to know all events that have happened since LVO are still being recorded by the GW and staff, so that we know what's happening, so that the awards will be handed out, TOs will be recognized, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Guys, just sit tight for another week or so, and more information will get publicly stated by GW regarding the ITC. Moving right along, let's get that beautiful BAO poster up there, Richard, please. Yeah, the BAO people are excited for this. This is the one in San Francisco.
Yep.
Tickets are already available for sale on the KublaiKhan website. We're being held by the KublaiKhan convention, so they kind of
Mhm.
run our tickets. This is the longest running Frontline gaming event, and that's for a very good reason. People love this event. I've never actually been to BAO, so I'm excited to go there and work it. But yeah, the player packets have just been completed. They're basically going to be a photocopy of the Cherokee player packet. So if you look at the Cherokee player packet, you have an idea what to expect at BAO.
All right.
And let's talk about Cherokee. Let's just
Oh,
do
hold
it.
on. I have one
Cherokee.
thing to add for BAO.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
I've talked to an illustrious Falcon today,
Ooh.
and he is hopeful that his new custom trophy for BAO should be done in time this year. And
Ooh.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. So,
Ooh.
kind of building a little hype there. Hopefully,
Yeah.
he can get it done in time. He's had some commission work going for that. So,
Oh, I love it.
fingers crossed that trophy is going to be ready in time for the BAO.
Sweet. I didn't know the Falcon was making a custom trophy. That's kind of cool. I should know
Wow,
these things.
I know things the Kicker
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
about
like
events.
I place the order for the trophies, so I'm like, I guess I won't be placing an order for trophies. We have to discuss this in detail, so I know
Yes,
what I'm
you
working on.
probably need to talk to the Falcon.
Yeah, I'll talk. Okay, sweet. Well, Cherokee's up. Yes, at Cherokee, we will be using the brand spanking new chapter approved. This will be the first big boy event of
You
the
mean this?
season. Yeah, there. Oh, look at that! You got one, dude. They're
Yeah,
sold out at my
Warzone
local store.
Noctum Grand Tournament.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. It's Nockmund.
Whatever,
Um,
knocked you.
yeah, not you. Well, those will be in effect at Cherokee, and it's going to be. Let's just be honest. It's going to be game changing. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's having to adjust their army. I mean, I'm sure, Seth, you're building your list purely for these new missions. I mean,
Yeah, these new missions are very like they don't seem that different until you start playing them. And
oh yeah.
having that rotating third thing you have to do
Mhm.
every game is I mean, there's some missions where it's like, yeah, just kill more stuff. You're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go kill things. But there's some missions that are like, have a dude over here doing an action, and then have a dude go over there and sit on an
Yeah.
objective, and you're like, ah, okay. And then there's someone like, don't be near any objectives at all. Go near other crap and do actions, and you're like, I need a lot of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I've totally I played a game this week with my orcs without changing the list. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't play this game right now with this list. It just I can't do the actions I wanted. COVID protocols. Let's discuss this real fast.
Yep.
The Cherokee Open is on the Cherokee Reservation in North Carolina. Neither North Carolina or the Cherokee Reservation have any mandated requirements regarding COVID. So no masks are required. You don't have to show proof of vaccination or anything like that. The Cherokee tribe really does ask that you do wear a mask. So you just, and then Frontline Gaming, we really do ask that you respect your opponents. If your opponents
Mhm.
wish you to wear a mask, please do so. I myself, guys, err on the side of caution. I'm just talking as a person here, not a representative of Frontline Gaming, but I do happen to be the manager of Frontline Gaming events. And I will tell you, I tend to err on the side of caution. So, guys, just really try hard to respect your opponents and whatnot. but Frontline Gaming is not going to enforce anything more than what the venue and the region enforces, and that's because that's our protocol. That's our standard. Frontline Gaming does whatever the local region is doing. So that's how we've done it since the beginning, guys. That's how we've done it since we started events this post-COVID world, or this COVID world. So we follow whatever we've done this for every event, and we'll do it continually into the future. Whatever the local venue and region has in place is what we enforce.
Yeah. There is nothing stopping you going further. So I think if the reservation is asking us to be respectful and wear masks, then I certainly encourage the attendees to do so. But this is, like you said, the letter of the land is there is not a mask mandate. But I think the smart decision for most of us is to play it safe.
Yeah, and just be respectful. We are on the tribe's reservation, so
we are literally their guests.
We are their guests, and they're really cool. They're like 100% excited to have us, which is amazing. But if you go to town, for example, the town people might be more conservative than at the resort. So at the resort, things might be more looser. But if you go to the town and you go to a store, the owner, the Cherokee owner might ask you, hey, wear your mask. So just come with a mask, be prepared. But that's what the game plan is here. Speaking about something more positive and exciting, looks like there's going to be a warrior dance thing going on during on Saturday. It looks like the tribe wants to do a little pump up warrior. They just like in a circle around or something. But yeah,
I really, really, really wish that we could get them to dress in orc attire for this.
They will not. They will not.
I know they won't. But
they will be.
My brain just immediately went to a bunch of orcs dancing around pre-event, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
One of the chiefs reached out to me, and they're like they showed photos and stuff. No, it's not. It's traditional Cherokee garb. I'm sorry, Seth. No orcs. Oh, and Turbo. If you got a challenge coin from LVO or from any event in 2021, bring your challenge coin, because boom, you'll get a free bottle of Turbo Dork paint. Yes, and yes. If you're watching our podcast, if you're listening to our podcast, you should be watching, because right now you can see, yes, the brand new sneak peek of the challenge coin we'll be giving out to all the attendees at the Cherokee Open. And this is easily my favorite challenge coin we've made. I mean, it is gorgeous.
At what point do you make a Thanos style gauntlet for the challenge coins?
Well, I don't know if we're going to make a gauntlet, Seth, but we are probably going to be making some sort of cool display rack or something. So
all right.
So yeah, it's going to be it's coming.
I'm just saying, someone with like a gauntlet, like I've pretended all the
coins.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think we can try and make that happen.
Okay.
Hey, and Thursday night, you want to try and get there if you can. I'm working with the venue management to have a cool meet and greet with some free appetizers for everyone, and then drinks.
And who might be at that meet and greet?
Okay, so I will be there. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. No one cares about me, but that's okay. I'll be there, and then we'll have all the judges there, and possibly Seth will be there.
Yeah, I was like, I'll be there, kicker.
Seth will be there.
Wow, just breezed right over me.
I mean, they'll be Seth, of course. Yeah. That's why you should go.
We'll be having some fun.
Go get some stickers from Seth. I'll be and then we should probably have we'll probably have a few other notable people there. I want to get them confirmed before I say they're going to be there, and they're not.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, Henry. Yeah, me and Henry go way back. Henry will be there.
They're old squash friends.
Yes. But no, it's just really an opportunity to get to hang out with your buddies before you start kicking butt the following day. And speaking about drinks and hanging out, guys, we have a crazy amount of food and drink options at the Cherokee Open. I'll go into details probably next week, but to make a long story short, you don't have to leave the hall. There'll be everything you need there from 8 in the morning until 7 at night. And the Cherokee Open, the Cherokee tribe really wants us to have a good time, and they're busting out something special for us, guys. There'll be moonshine mixed drinks all day long at the events. Yes, moonshine, a local.
I want to find out if Brad Chester is going to be there, and we need to put a little handler on him the whole time.
Yeah, right. Listen, man, I want him to have a good time, and if that means kicking back with a few moonshines, then that's totally fine. He can do that all he wants.
I'm just saying he can have a few, but please make sure he stops at a few, because he jumped off a stage after LVO. Okay.
Yeah,
boy hurt his ankle jumping off a stage. We got to keep him under control.
That was a big ass stage.
He's an old man. He's a treasure to the community. We can't let him hurt himself.
No, not at all. But yeah, so and for better or worse, the drinks are pretty cheap too. So yeah, maybe we might have to have someone keep him back. All right, Seth, why don't you take us into the FLGN news and what's going on there?
Yeah. So Grim After Dark fired back up this week. They had Val on to kind of unwind post LVO and talk kind of about the first season, so to speak, of the FLGN and kind of where he took everything this year. So that was kind of a cool conversation. Thursday show fires back up. Or they never stopped. They're crazy. They went off tonight. Chapter Tactics was yesterday. They talked about the goods, the pros and the cons of the new missions. And then Monday or Tuesday next week, I believe, is a new episode of the 40K Game Changers, which is promising to be a very interesting episode. So I encourage everyone to
Can you give a sneak peek? You know what it's about, right?
I do know what it's about, but out of respect of the guest, I'm not spoiling anything. So, but I do encourage everyone to give that a listen, except for Chapter Tactics, who maliciously attacked our tech priest. Anyway,
don't listen to that. Don't listen to Matt and his crew.
Yeah, Magic Carp.
Well, yeah, no, but dude, seriously, Game Changers is going to be a really good episode. So there's a lot of heart there.
Yep, there is. So the main segment is kind of a rehash of last week's main segment, which was kind of post-LVO thoughts, pros and cons, but this time from Kicker, the event manager perspective.
Okay. So, but guys, I know everyone's bored with LVO talk because everyone and their mother has been talking about LVO. So I don't want to talk about it from the player's perspective. I don't want to talk about it from like, the meta or anything. Let's just talk about it from the backside, the venue side, like the admin of it. Because, this is our first year at the Rio. This is the first year running a big event, and we didn't do it last year, so it's been we've had some time to relearn stuff. And anyway, I want to talk about the venue really because that's the big variable here that we need to review. And the way I break down all this stuff after every event is the pros, cons, and solutions. So let's talk about the pros. The venue had free parking, which is huge for Las Vegas because generally you're paying like $15-20 a day. Dude, the space, what do you think of the space, Seth? The game space?
It was amazing. It was huge. There was lots of bathrooms. There was lots of water. I didn't feel crowded. There was plenty of room to get around. Like I was really concerned.
Yeah.
When we had, 500 tables, I was like, oh my, it's going to be a freaking nightmare to get to your table. There was enough lanes of movement that it really wasn't that bad. So I was really happy with the space.
Yeah, and that's a big variable that we, I really wanted to make sure that's the reason we chose the Rio, right? Was that space. And I saw it, and Reese saw it, and Frankie saw it as this awesome space, but we have to wait till the actual event happens. Yeah. We were able to have 10-foot aisles. That's huge. Usually aisles are 6 feet wide, so we really made nice big aisles so people.
Then you can actually have carts going past each other in two directions, and it's not bumper carts with armies, which becomes a nightmare.
Yeah, so, and it looks like the post event feedback has been really positive from the players regarding the space. The stage was a nice benefit too, right, Seth? I mean, I know that was fun.
Yeah, that was a really nice space to stream. It was also cool to have that projector up there so people could just watch the games and not have to loom up in on the game, which always feels weird. So that was nice. And it also kind of gave the stream crew a little bit of separation and space to work, which is really nice for them.
They had a private green room, all the
did, cool stuff. And I definitely didn't fall asleep on that couch in round 9. I definitely didn't look at the game and go, it's going to be Matt and Richard moving for an hour and just kind of feeling each other out. I'm going to go lay down and then get up and watch the exciting ending.
And something that a lot of the players have no idea what was going on behind the scenes, but something that I really pay close attention to is how the venue management works with us, because we are a tournament of this size. A tournament in general is not normal for most of these venues, but ours is extremely abnormal. Just the whole layout. But they worked their asses off to make us happy, and I mean, Seth, why don't you talk to them about the changes they did regarding the food?
Yeah, line? So I also give credit to you, Kicker, for this because thanks, man. You guys, if you're frequent viewers of us, you know the Kicker was asking what you wanted. You said you wanted breakfast in the hall. They set up breakfast the first day, but they really the venue really was short staffed in terms of the number of people working that breakfast station. So the line got really long for breakfast and lunch. And Kicker was on it, telling them they need to get more help in here. And I was really worried because I was like, man, if that's how the line is every day, it's going to be like a madhouse trying to get food in this place. But by Saturday and Sunday, they had plenty of staff there, plenty of food. That line was moving. It wasn't a problem to get in and out and get your food in between rounds. Or if you had your opponent's taking a move major, I'm going to go grab a coffee. I'll be right back. That was all nice and easy. So I give credit to you and the venue for seeing that problem and addressing it, not just being like, it is what it is. Let it roll for the weekend.
Yeah, I had to push them a little bit, but a lot of venues will say, "No, sorry, you have to schedule all of the staffing out 3 weeks in advance." Like, that's a fact, but they were able to, within, 24 hours, I told them that morning, "We need to change this." They're able to get in, go from 1 cashier to 3 cashiers, right?
Yeah.
Bring in extra food runners,
I'm
so they were flexible. They were working with
Kicker,
us.
I don't know if you remember this, but I came up to you when I was telling you about the food line, and I was said there was a guy in the food line talking about how they need more staff. I'm 90% certain that man is now in chat watching us. His name is Aesthetic Deluxe because he said, "True story. I talked to Seth in the food line," and I'm like, I'm 90% certain that was the guy that I going like, man, they need more staffing. I'll talk to. I'm
Seth, get
90%.
that guy a sticker. Um
I don't. I didn't give you a sticker if I didn't find me at the next event. I'll give you one.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the cons, right? Let's
Yeah.
be blunt. We have to talk about the bad, right? The
Yep.
restaurants in the entire Rio, most of the restaurants, or many of the restaurants were closed. Now that's not
Yeah.
a normal thing. That's a COVID thing. So a lot of these places are understaffed and they can't keep the restaurants open up, all the restaurants open up all the time. Hopefully next year, I mean, knock on wood, and it looks like the world is changing, or at least accepting the way we
Fingers
live.
crossed.
Yeah, we'll have all the restaurants open. So that should not be a variable or a factor for next year. Elevators, they backed up, man.
Yeah, they
They
did.
backed up, and that's because the venue is not used to having basically 2,000 people hit the elevators at 9 a.m. in the morning to roll dice at 9:30. That was just unexpected, and
Yep.
not much we could do about that. Um, and the rooms, I stayed in the worst room in the hotel, and that's intentionally so. I always try to stay at the worst room. They were trying to give me a really nice suite because we're renting out, doing all this thing. But I like to see the worst possible room so that I know that none of our players, none of our attendees or is getting treated badly. I want to, so I have the room right next to the elevator, and it was fine. I mean, I was like, wow, this is not so bad. I know, Seth, you probably had you had some comments, and you've read some comments, and I've seen some comments too, that people are like, these rooms are terrible. They're Las Vegas rooms, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're not the
Yeah,
fanciest rooms
they
in the world.
they were we weren't on the fancy hotel, and that's okay because that means things are a little cheaper for
Yeah.
everyone. Um, my room was certainly more functional than my room was in New Orleans. I didn't have plumbing issues,
Let's
like I
not
had in
talk
New
about the
Orleans.
New Orleans menu.
Well, I didn't experience elevator issues because when I checked in, they gave me the option to upgrade my room for like $10 a night to the tower with the view of the mountains, and I thought that'd be nice for the mornings. So I did that. So I was actually in a different tower than most everyone
Yeah.
else. So I didn't really have. There's a few people in there too. Like remember running into 40K guys every morning. I particularly remember running into like Bridger from Tabletop Titans was there. But I think that kind of feeds into what your
Yes,
your
the
solutions
solutions,
are.
because you can't talk about the pros, you can't talk about the cons without talking about the solutions. Because my job as the events manager is to figure out how to actually fix the problems, or change to a new venue or whatnot. So solutions right here, right? What you
Mhm.
just talked about, Seth. To alleviate the elevator issues, I'm going to have the venue. I'm going to do my damnedest to have the venue break up our room block into two separate towers as opposed to one tower. So that way,
Yeah.
we only have, say, 1,000 people hitting the elevators at each time, at two different towers, as opposed to
Yeah.
2,000 people hitting one set of elevators. That should be not a big problem. Talking about the rooms, though, the whole the whole Rio has just been purchased, like literally
Yeah.
just been
Now,
purchased.
Kicker, let me
Yeah.
interject here. The rumor is that it's getting leveled and destroyed within a big explosion. Is that true?
Okay, honestly, we thought that too. But we spoke with the management while we were there. We got everything confirmed. The Rio is not getting leveled. It's actually getting updated tremendously, a massive overhaul. And part of that should be going into effect within the next 12 months, or during the next 12 months, is that half the rooms will be updated, which means that hopefully we can get a good portion of our block. I've been told that a good portion of our block should be in the updated rooms. So immediately next year, I don't know who's going to get selected to be in the updated rooms. It might be totally random, but a lot of the rooms should be brand spanking new, which will be wonderful.
Yeah.
Um,
I just if you're looking for a title for LVO 2023, there's a great one in chat
yeah.
from Wit 23. He says LVO 2023, The Two Towers.
Oh yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I see a t-shirt. Let's make it.
There we go.
Uh, uh, and guys, you know, I just got to be straight up with you. We have a contract. We're going to be at the Rio for at least another year. So for 2023, it definitely is happening there. That we can't change that. Our contract's set in stone. So
Yep.
whether you like it or you don't, it's not changing for 2023. But honestly, the venue space, as we were talking about earlier, is amazing, and there's a lot of potential there if they update everything. So we might even stay there longer. If
Yeah.
they
If the
do
update
all the
goes
changes.
well.
Well, let's talk about the game systems real fast, because one of the
Yep.
parts of us to maximize, the amount of players that we have there and the space, and make sure the games that most people want to play, we can have as much space for them. A lot of games are up. Some games are not up. Let's just be honest. Underworlds didn't really have a great turnout, so I don't know if we're going to be supporting Underworlds for that long.
Yeah.
There's a few other game systems that are pretty small that just didn't have players or excitement, and I'm like, well, those tables could become 40K champs tables. MCP though, that's insane, man. That's sold out. That's going to be something that's on the
Yeah.
rise.
So
Legion
maybe,
is up.
maybe those tables good. What, not 40K, but
Yeah,
some other
to
system.
MCP, yeah,
Yeah.
MCP, because we can only have so many 40K players. I mean, we only have so much terrain, right? 40K, of course, is up, up, up. I mean, despite COVID, despite attrition, despite the weird world we live in, it was still the largest 40K singles event we've ever had. I mean,
Yeah.
so all that's good. One thing I want to kind of apologize is that some of the historical war gamers were less than pleasant. It's maybe a game culture shift. Maybe it was the TO. I don't know these specifics, but I want to apologize and tell you that I did confront those people, and it's saying that, listen, you're not necessarily going to be here again next year. We need to change your attitude. The Frontline Gaming events, all of them are a fun place, and I don't want to have guys bringing down the vibe at all.
Yeah.
Sweet moments. I want to talk about a sweet moment real fast. I had to confront one guy. We had one guy. So we had thousands of people there, but we had one guy that just did not seem to want to play ball regarding wearing a mask and COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not a confrontational guy by nature, but I do need to make sure that, nobody at our event is hurting the enjoyment or pleasure of anyone else at our event. And this one guy was causing a nuisance. He got removed, but came back, and he was, intoxicated when he came back and causing a very big problem. And I like I said, I don't want to have to get in anyone's face or confront them or anything, but this guy was really hurting the enjoyment of a lot of people in the middle of their game. So I had
Mm-hmm.
to, he was slowly walking out, and I came up to him, and I said straight up to him, please do not return again, period. You are not allowed at our event. And he pivoted quickly and started to I don't know, aggressively move towards me. And I'm not a big guy, Seth. You know that.
Nope,
I'm
nope.
not,
There's a reason you're donkey in our artwork.
exactly. I mean, I'll go bite his ankles if I have to, but luckily the guy stopped in his tracks because he looked right behind me, and there was about 20 or 30 40K players there that all had my back, and it was just like, oh, that was really kind of cool to have the community there watching out to make sure I don't get my ass beat. And then this guy, left the hall, and he definitely did not return. And so it was really sweet to see the community there, making sure everyone's having a good time, and that the hall stays, a fun environment.
Yeah.
The other big thing was the FLGN stream, dude. You saw that. I mean, you were part of that, dude.
Yeah.
You guys rocked.
Yeah, it was a good time. I maybe our secret tech piece in the background could inform me of some numbers, but we did have a really, really great stream. There was a lot of viewers. We had both the FLGN stream and War Games Live was there. I think at one point we were up to over 2,000. Is that correct, Richard?
So
yeah, sorry, folks, for listening to Richard.
Okay, so we're getting the data fed into our ears right now.
So we had
Seth,
about
take it away.
4,000 at the peak of the FLGN stream, and I know there was over 500 at one point for the War Games live stream.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
geez.
So
Seth,
and then
take it away.
the Spanish guys were restreaming our stream, and they had about another 4,000. So that's a lot of folks watching. I remember specifically we were streaming the Shadow round, and it's like 11:30 at night, and I wander back behind the curtain to talk to Richard, and I'm like, man, why are we still streaming? Like, who's even watching? He's like, we have 1,200 viewers. I was like, I guess we're gonna keep streaming.
Yeah.
We'd been streaming. That was the fourth game in a row that day. Like, that was a long day of streaming. So yeah, it went really well. Adam and Pete killed it. I don't know how the heck those two managed to stay on mic and commentate for essentially 12 hours, then like close to 15.
I mean, those guys are
hours and another
endurance
12 hours.
athletes. I don't know they could do that. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, Seth, you as well, Matt from our FLGN group, Garrett back there,
Matt,
of course,
they were
Richard,
hopping in, helping out.
And Joe. I mean, he's like a one-man show, and he kept on trucking. Joe of War Games Live, and Joe will be at Cherokee, by the way, guys. Joe is going to be there streaming as well. So
the lumberjack himself will emerge from the woods and bless us with another stream.
And one last thing, guys, I have to say that the event can't happen without the volunteers. Like I was a little hesitant because this is a big event. We need a lot of support from community members, and I got to think, there's countless guys to thank, but I want to thank a few people like Steven from the area, and Dade, who's basically Dade's from Canada. He's a human forklift. Like, they helped our setup like our setup would not have happened without guys like these, like them
Yeah.
showing up. And then on close up, I mean, like everyone's there, has a great time, but then Sunday everyone's going home, and guess who's left? It's just a few of us staff. Well, we were packing up things all day Sunday afternoon, well, evening, and then Monday morning we rolled up to load up the trucks, and there's just a few of us, and there's a whole lot of pallets, and we're moving slowly, but getting through it. And a guy just kind of pokes his head in, and he looks around, and he's like, "Can I help you guys?" I'm like, "Yes, please." Well, this guy Jared from Montana ended up spending several hours with us, just moving and loading up trucks, and
I think Jared's in chat tonight. Someone
no
mentioned
way.
about helping load trucks on Monday. Jared, if you're
Yeah.
in chat, fire off, bud.
Yeah, Jared, dude, you are a saint, and I owe
Hey, yeah,
you.
there he is. He said his
There's
name is Kool-Aid. He's on Twitch.
all right, cool. Well, Jared, like I owe you dinner, and I
It
mean,
was
you were
his
just.
first LVO.
Oh, really? Yeah. He'd mentioned it. He had this guy who came down from Montana. He's just, but it was like the funniest thing. He just kind of like peeked into the hall, like, "Do you guys need help?" And like Reese, Seth, like
Yeah.
we're just like, "Yes, please, yes, all the help we can get." All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming to the LVO. I can't wait to see you at the next one. And Seth, why don't we roll into some of the news on the competitive side?
So we've got some news to share. So the new missions are out. We talked about that. Folks have been playing them. I've been playing them. They are wild. There's lots. The general updates for the secondaries are kind of quality of life improvements. A lot of them just got a little bit more easier, more functional. So you have more options on that front. Nothing massively changed there that we didn't already know about. The missions themselves, though, they are extremely varied, and there's a lot more focus on coming to midfield. So it really encourages interaction between armies. So it's definitely, the missions play very different from each other. So it's just going to take some time to get your head wrapped around them and figure out how to play that particular mission with your army. So don't get discouraged. Just get some reps. You'll figure it out. The other big change was mono sub factions. So you can't mix sub factions anymore, which makes it a little bit difficult for list buildings for some armies, but it makes it a lot easier for your opponent to know what you're dealing with. Because if you're playing me and I'm playing orcs, it's not like I've got, this is a Goth detachment and this is a Death Skulls and over here is an Evil Sons. It's all the same. I tell you, here's my sub faction rule, and it applies to basically everything on the table. So it makes it easier for your opponent to interact with you and not be like, "Oh, that was the unit that has fight first." Crap. That helps out a lot. We've got the new balanced data slate that came out, which is mostly just a nerf to Thick City. It got put on a diet. They basically got their -1 damage rule turned into like Orc Ramshackle, so it only applies with strength 7 or less. So that's been a good quality of life improvement, because that list could be pretty abrasive going into at times. And I'm good friends with the guy that made that list, and I'm still calling it abrasive. So we also got a new batch of FAQs out. These had all kinds of important changes. The big ones to think about, finally they have a official ruling on when you get out of a transport as in regards to remaining stationary. You never count as remaining stationary after disembarking a transport, and you cannot charge because of a rule that would make you count as stationary. If you have other rules that let you get out of a transport and charge, that is allowed, but not if the rule counts as remain stationary. That does not work. They clarified that like the drop pod occupants, when they get out, they can be hit with intercept strats.
Oh, they can be.
Auspex. Yes, so they can be. And then one of the kind of big lurking questions with sisters was, could they use 2 Armorium Cherubs or just 1? They are limited at 1 per turn per squad, so they can't be like popping all that off. Point is, there's a ton of new stuff, new missions. You got the balanced data state, you've got the new FAQs. You probably got some questions about how your army works, and I'm here to tell you that the FLG judge team has reopened submission for this season for their FAQ document. So if you have questions and you're going to Cherokee, go to the player pack, find the link to submit questions and get your questions in, because they are going through those and answering those. And you want to find out in advance. You don't want to find out at the table, folks.
Exactly.
So get those in while you can. All right. Kicker, I'm here to share some stats with you and see what you think. Chat, I'm also want to see your reactions on this.
Seth, where are these stats coming from? Because I know that
these stats, yes, these are from one of our contributors on the blog, Nathan. He works very hard to compile these stats, and he happily shared them with me. He also has started his own podcast recently called 40K Fight Club, where he shares these stats, but he was gracious enough to share them with us, to share them with you guys here. So thanks to Nathan for doing all this hard work. We affectionately have been calling him Baby Falcon.
Baby Falcon.
Yep. All right. So, top 5 factions by attendance at LVO. Guesses, kicker. What are the top 5 most numerous factions?
Okay, top 5. You gotta have. I mean, everyone's been talking about Custodes, right?
All
Like
right. Custodes is one.
everyone. I mean,
That is
everyone's
actually
talking about.
indeed number one
Oh,
at
that is number
60
1. Okay,
at
wait, number
61
1?
people. Yep. They were the
61
most numerous.
Custodes.
What's the
Oh, wow. I mean, I wanna say I saw a lot of orcs there, but I don't know if they
Yep.
were the, like, 2nd. Were they on the
Orcs
they're
were
on the
number
hill?
3. They had
Okay.
53 armies. They were number 3.
Wow. Okay, I mean, maybe this is stupid, but I feel like Space Marines always have a good presence every event. Like, there's
They
always
were
Space
not
Marines.
one of the top
What?
ones. No.
I mean, but everyone has a Space Marine army. Like, I feel like at LVO, you're just gonna have that many people
Well,
showing up.
you'll find out why here in a minute.
Okay, all right. Well, tell me the last 3 or
All right,
2.
so number 2 was Drukhari at
Okay,
54
true. Yeah.
armies. Number 4 was Tyranids at 52 armies, and
Wow.
number 5 was Grey Knights at
Yeah.
49 armies.
Dude, Grey Knights didn't have
Yeah.
quite the show. I was expecting them to do a little bit better. I
All
mean,
right. And now, what do you think the least the least attended factions were? The bottom 5 number
Oh, dude. I
factions.
mean,
Who was the
uh,
rare snowflakes in the
what like
LVO
are we gonna have
soup?
like demons maybe in there or like
No, no,
no, no,
no.
no? Okay, knights. Come on. There was not that. There were
Knights.
not nice.
Chaos Knights came in at
Okay.
number 2 with only 4 armies in attendance.
All right, right. Dude, just oh, you know what? No one took old school Eldar craft rolls,
Craftworld
right?
Eldar, they were number
All right,
4 at 6 armies.
all right. But I'm out. I'm out.
Number 5 was just Imperial Soup at 8
Okay.
armies. Number 3 was Harlequins at
Oh yeah.
6 armies, and the least represented faction was Nurgle, just General Nurgle at 2 armies.
Oh, wah, wah.
All right, so flipping it, win rates. Who do you think performed the best win rate wise at LVO?
I mean, I want to say Drukari because they had several making it up. They got to be the first, right?
No,
Overall,
second.
right?
They're the
Second. Okay,
second.
I'm close. I'm close. I'm close.
62% win rate.
Oh, okay, that's legit, man. That's legit.
Mhm.
Okay, then who got first? You got to just tell me who got first at this
Number
point.
1 is Tyranids.
Okay,
Tyranids had a
cool.
63% win rate. And then number 3, riding off that kind of coattails, is Forces of the Hive Mind
Mhm.
at 62%. So they were tied with Drukhari. Number 4 was Custodes at
Yeah.
60%. And number 5 was Gene Stealer Cult at
Oh
57%.
wow.
So someone asked how strong is Gene Stealer Cult? 57%. That's how strong. So 3 of the top 5 are some combination of Tyranids or Gene Stealer Cult or both.
Some sort of weird
They had
bug.
they
Yeah.
had a great showing there. They had a great
Dude,
showing.
I think the cult they just need a little bit more time to figure out that codex, but I think
Yeah, there's definitely
there's
a lot of
potential.
tricks and tools
Yeah.
in there. Now the bottom 5, the factions that had the worst showing at LVO,
I mean, dude, it's got to be guard. I mean, I love my Astra Militarum, but
they
there's
came
no
in at number 2 with a
okay.
35% win rate. Unfortunately,
And of course, we were talking about there's a reason that nobody brought Craft Worlds is because they're just not really
yep,
competitive as
they
of
were
right now.
down at number 4 with a
Okay.
37% win rate. Now
Uh,
that's going to change. They got a new codex coming, and I've heard
yes,
it's spicy, folks.
yes.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. I
All
mean,
right.
yeah,
Number 5 at 41% was Death Guard,
okay, yeah,
which I feel bad because they got their book like a year ago and they're down there. Number
yeah.
3
Jeez.
is Space Marines at 36%. And
Okay.
that's why I think we didn't see a ton of them because they're struggling right now in the current meta. Number 2 was Astra Militarum, like I talked about. And number 1 was Chaos Demons at 32%.
Wow. Wow. KS
So
Demons. Oof. Ouch.
they were
You know,
struggling. But that's where we're at with the meta right now, folks. We don't have ITC rankings yet this week. Hopefully, those will be starting to come out next week. We'll hit the early season folks on there and see maybe who the early contenders are for the throne. If anyone can ever dethrone Richard Siegler, I'm fairly certain if he plays 6 more games or 6 more tournaments, he will be in contention for 2023. But
right?
we
Jeez.
did get some listener questions that I've been pulling out of
Okay,
chat
go
throughout
for
this
it. Go for it.
episode. One of them is thoughts on Gene Stealer Cult in terms of how strong they are.
Okay, well, we just spoke about Gene Stealer Cult.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they've got a pretty legit win rate. I mean, they came in 5th overall
Yeah.
for the LVO. I mean, I think that it's too new though that people are still trying to figure it out. Like I
They're very much feel like an army that is very easy to misplay and die in a fire
Mhm.
very quickly. But that also an army that if you use the right combos at the right times, they can be very strong. So I'd say they have a very high skill floor, but also a very high skill ceiling. You can get a lot out of them if you know how to get all the little tricks out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. We got any other questions in
Oh, we
chat?
do.
Okay,
The
shoot.
question when you mentioned that the laser that cuts a terrain was broken, the question was, did you use it to destroy Alderaan?
We'll not
No
discuss
comment.
that.
No
Yeah,
comment.
no comment. No comment. No comment.
Any chance that your printer technology will be used on army trays?
Ooh, that's a really good idea. That's a
Mm.
really good. Whose idea was that? They
I
should get
think that
credit.
was Kelsey's.
That was Kelsey's. That's a
Yep.
really good idea, Kelsey, because people already buy our display mats to put on their
Mhm.
tree. But imagine just getting a custom printed.
Yep.
I like that, Kelsey. Yeah, I mean, I got to talk to. So Frankie at our office, he's the guy that manages most of the production side of things. I'm going to talk to him about that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
And then the last one that
Oh yeah, shoot.
I pulled on a chat was, if 2023 is the Two Towers, does that mean that Reese is going to play in 2024 for the Return of the King?
Boom. There we go. Done deal. Done deal. It's happening. It's
He's got to
happening.
do it.
It's
You hear it,
happening.
Reese? You've
It's
got to
happening.
come and play in 2024. I spoke in his native tongue. Oh, we were talking about it earlier, Kicker. We figured out why Reese's voice sounds like that. It's because he's ran events for years without drinking tea.
Oh, there we go.
It's a
There we go. So,
cautionary tale for you, Kicker. It's a
I do not
cautionary
want
tale.
to. I love Reese. I love his voice, but I don't want to have his voice. So
Yeah.
yeah, I will try to make sure that after that I'll be drinking my tea at every single event, so I can keep my squirrel-like voice.
All right,
guys.
well,
Thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
yeah, that's all we've got. Any final thoughts, Kicker?
No, I'm stoked. I think we're gonna have something special for next week's episode, but
Well, not next week because
a week after neek.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking. The week after that. So, we thank you so much for joining us this week. We really hope we enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week and see you next Wednesday, as long as Chapter Tactics doesn't attack our servers.
Good night, guys.